Show podcast. The daily show where I discuss news, nonsense, and my personal adventures each and every day of the work week. Yesterday was a very, very tricky disaster. Well, near disaster. Some of the most ridiculous things that I have ever been involved in, that I have talked with the audience about, whether it's a Ham and Egger podcast or something on the old radio morning show. The one thing that has always been common is that some type of feces is involved with these stories. It's always fart or feces related. Some of the best stories that I've ever told. When I say best, I mean horrible scenes that I have to tell you. It's I don't like to quote things from my old show, but I always found it a good practice that if it happens to you and, you know, it makes you uncomfortable, or it's probably a good idea to tell that story. That was, again, in my brain, resonating, bouncing around on the walls on the inside of my skull yesterday. And I've never really shied away from that. I can probably count on one hand the times that I haven't shared something with you. The best ones are the ones that take place and that in the exact moment that it's happening, it's like, well, I'm never speaking of this ever. Then, you know, you start to, time passes, minutes, hours, and you're like, oh, well, no, this is actually going to be great. Once you get past the initial shock of what has happened to you. Now, wasn't that extreme for me on this story? Because, again, it was a disaster avoided. Something else, one of the other factors involved in this one, Facebook Marketplace. So Facebook Marketplace and feces are the two main players in this story. My wife is another player in this story. The Queen of the Forest is involved because if there's anything that's going to be purchased on Facebook Marketplace, my wife is going to do it. Now, yes, I have been known to buy things on Facebook Marketplace. One thing in particular, the murder mattress, which I purchased and then showed all of you the remains of the crime that happened on it. And you all said, oh, my God, burn that mattress. Don't let your dad sleep on that mattress. And I said, absolutely, you're right. I don't know why I bought this. And then I turned around and brought it up north and put some sheets on it. And then my dad slept on it. Aram writes, in 2008, I actually heard Hot Wings say that some of his best stories come from when he is shopping. No idea what he was referring to. Yeah, that's interesting because never, ever has anyone thought when Hot Wings is telling a story that this is a, quote, best story. Not because of the circumstances. Well, actually, kind of because of the circumstances. The lack of scrutiny and discernment and ability to tell the story is probably the problem why. But anyway, I digress. Queen of the Forest says to me, oh, my God, we got that. I talked to you about this. We have got to go to get this refrigerator. This guy's selling it on Marketplace. It's one of those fridges you put in the garage. So now that means that we have 4 fridges. I'm not even kidding you. We got the main fridge. You got the downstairs fridge. She's got a fridge specifically for wine. It's huge. Just big fucking cooler. It keeps it at like wine temperature. It's like, just fucking throw it in the fridge. Who gives a shit? She goes, no, that's wrong temp. So then I always walk by it and unplug it because it just kills the electricity. And she's like, no. I go, well, why don't you just plug it in when you know you're going to be drinking wine? It's not like suddenly like someone knocks on the door, you guys just bust out the wine. Just a few hours beforehand, turn it on. She won't do it. I lose Pooh Bear points every time I do that. So we're on the way to get this this fridge, and we find out it's just a coincidence. We actually know the guy who we're buying it from. Him and his family, I've known him for years. And so that's good. He's actually closer to my brother. He went to college with World Book Jim. His name is Steve. And so I know him just from times that we've been in the same place over at my brother's house. Like, oh, my God, Steve, yeah, well, we're going to come see you get this damn thing. Okay, great. Tyler says, I will lose Pooh Bear points quicker than the electric bill will run up. That's absolutely true. So we're on the way there. And the conversation is, I go, well, you know, can we unplug the fridge in the basement? And now in the back of my brain, I'm like, why are we even getting this thing? We have plenty of refrigerator space. Honestly, downstairs in my basement, it's a smaller fridge. It's not like a full-size one. And the freezer is kind of full, but not completely. And there's a lot of stuff in the freezer that's been there for so long. It's just it's like freezer burned, you know? Like whole chickens. You could just pitch them. They're horrible. You wouldn't want to eat these anyway. You can, you know, for some foods, freezing is not like indefinite. In fact, I would argue that everything inside of the freezer downstairs could just be thrown away and start fresh. So basically, we have an unused fridge. Darla looking very cute behind me right now with a bone in her mouth. Hi, big girl. And the actual fridge the space, there's nothing in it. There's a couple of old like White Claws, but they're all expired. They're super old. Just going to dump them out anyway. So we have an empty fridge, pretty much downstairs. Fridge, freezer. But yet we're buying a new fridge. So I go, hey, so hang on a second. When we keep getting interrupted, sorry. When we're driving over there, I'm like, yeah, so I think I can pull a fast one by like giving her the old, yeah, so what, can we like unplug that one downstairs? And though, you know, that's 6 of one, a half dozen of the other, she goes, yeah, maybe. Well, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in there. And I'm like, oh, yeah. So my goal is to, on the down low, since we have now 4 fridges, is to have one of them unplugged. Yesterday, I had 3 fridges. I would love to have just 2 of them plugged in, but that's not going to happen. Okay? I mean, I guess I could if I just cleaned the damn thing out, but it's like we have more fridges in this house than people. That's ridiculous. So now we're driving there, and as we're walking out the door, I feel something very odd in my midsection, and I'm like, Now, let me cut to the chase. I have to rethink the old Eric Zane Show podcast quesadilla diet. I am now off of the quesadilla train. Let's see. We got back on Wednesday. Wednesday, after I got back, on the back half of the day, there was a leftover quesadilla in the fridge. I ate the leftover quesadilla. And the way I make these things is really great. They're just delicious. And then I washed it down with a piece of leftover pizza. Thursday happens, yesterday. I do the show. It's another award-winning episode. I get a little time. I make a quesadilla. And then after I did the huge show, which was another fantastic effort, I pigged out on pizza. So it goes quesadilla, pizza, quesadilla, pizza. All I've eaten for like 30 hours. Jumping in the truck to drive over to pick up the friggin' fridge that we don't need. And I'm like, wow, something feels awful. And then we're about halfway there. I go, I think I'm going to need to use the restroom at some point. Oh, she doesn't think it. It's just sitting there playing Candy Crush. She's not even paying attention to me. Okay, fast forward to the fridge is in my truck bed. And I'm trying to manipulate those straps, those ratchet straps to strap it in. And my brother's pal / our pal, Steve, is there watching me at his house. And thank God we knew this guy. Thank God. Because I don't know if I would have said this to a stranger. I may have had to. Because in an instant, I said to Steve, I go, hey, and I did it in this kind of like non-urgent way. And I go, hey, do you mind? This is going to sound weird, Steve, but do you mind if I use the boys' room? And he goes, yeah, sure. Just go right in there. It's right across from that door. I go, oh, thank you. And then, but he could tell by the way I was kind of doubling over in pain that this is a big one. This is a big one. So Dinah's out there with Steve, and okay, it's not supposed to hurt to eliminate waste. It's not supposed to be a painful endeavor. And I knew I was in trouble. So as this unfolds, I'm flushing constantly over my shoulder because I don't want there to be any evidence that I have destroyed this home. Fan on, water running, constantly hitting that thing. As soon as the tank fills with water, I hit it again. It's several. My arm was sore from reaching over to grab that thing to flush. And I didn't detect that anybody was moving around the house, so I don't think anybody got wind of this. So even though, I love to sit in the bathroom for like 4 or 5 hours and look at my phone, I'm like, I just got to get the hell out of here as quickly as possible. So a matter of minutes passes. I walk out, and it's obvious I've been sitting, and I go, thank you. I mean, you saved my life there. I really appreciate that. And he just laughed it off. No big deal, as a true gentleman would. Finished strapping down the fridge, and we're gone. Gave the guy his money. Story done, right? Done. Successful. No, not even close. It's 13 miles to my home. Precisely halfway there, as we approach an intersection, I'm waiting for the arrow to go green. As the arrow goes green, it's like green signal to my colon saying, hit him again. Hit him again. And as I'm starting the turn, I'm like, oh. And from starting the turn to the Walgreens driveway is 45 yards. At this point, I said, I have to stop now. I turn immediately into the Walgreens. Leave the motor on. It's hot. I'm just going to be here playing Candy Crush. Oh, my God. I cannot believe you. It's so embarrassing. I go, shut up. Shut up. Now, I have enough control on this that the distance from the truck to the toilet, that's all I have in the tank. So this is make or break. If for any reason whatsoever they do not have the restroom facilities open, or the door is locked, or I need a key, or they don't have a restroom at the Walgreens, which, by the way, theirs is always in the back, by the pharmacy. If any of those things are going to happen, I have formulated a plan B, and that is shit on the floor or in my pants, and it's that dire. It was, wow. So as I approach, I see the sign. It says restrooms, and I go, okay, there they are. Now, one last hurdle. Door has to be open, because you never know, right? Maybe it's in a bad neighborhood where shit goes down poorly in the bathroom. I don't know. But, man, the joy and relief I felt when that knob turned and I'm in. And I'm like, oh, my God. Small, joyful moments. It seems like every time this happens to me, it's the most daunting of hills to climb. It's backbreaking and crippling what happens to me. And it's at this is the equivalent, because I don't drink. I haven't drank since June of 96. But you know how, like, when you're hungover, or maybe you've drank too much and you're puking before you even go to bed, but specifically when you're hungover and you're so fucked up that you're like heads resting on the toilet because it's cold, and you're like, oh my God, I'm never gonna drink again. You like Jesus, get me through this, and I'll never drink it. You actually like make a deal. That's where I was while on the toilet. I go, all right. My body is rebelling against me. I have to stop with the quesadilla diet. And when I set it down, I go, yeah, well, it's this. Now I'm back in the vehicle. I go, all right, yeah, we gotta abandon ship on the quesadilla diet. One quesadilla a day with jalapeno, onion, and tomato is I mean, once in a while maybe, but this is bad. The question, Kenny says, was this a 6-day-old quesadilla? No. You may not have been here to start the show. It was 1 day leftover, but then the second one I had was fresh. Like, I made it yesterday. But a man cannot live on quesadilla alone. Diana says, okay, tomorrow we just got to take it easy. Maybe just some light fare. And if you could mix in some vegetables too, I mean, that would be better for you. I go, you're right. It's like I'm a little kid the way I eat. I think Brandis has said that before. You're like a little child. My God. Got the fridge home. The fridge is on. And life is good, I guess. Tyler says Eric's colon is running shit through his bowels like Herb Brooks he says running sprints after a game. I know what you mean, the Herbies. Again. End line to blue line. Back to end line. End line to center ice line. Back to red line. Opposing team's blue line. Back to red line. Throw up. Oh, my gosh. Major incident avoided this time. If you ever want to reach me, the easiest way is an old school email. It's the quickest way to see it. Or you can send me a note on Messenger or perhaps my DMs on Twitter. The email is the Shoreliners Strifing inbox. You can send it along there, eric@ericzaneshow.com. It's on the radio yesterday, and part of my time on the Huge Show, I was joined by Anthony Clark, who Man, I am telling you, I can't say enough positive stuff about this guy. You don't know him, but okay. You remember all the times that I've played you, of course you do. You listen to it on the Lost Zane recordings, or not the Lost Zane recordings, but Who Are These Zanes? It seems like for decades, some of the worst things ever spoken into a microphone don't make sense. Bad radio has been from me, and not that it's any better now, but especially when I was in my 20s and 30s. Really shitty stuff. And, that's how we were able to make the show, Who Are These Zanes? Because there's so much material to pick from there. But if, the fact that, that goes years and years of material. I've been chatting with Anthony Clark. He works over at iHeart Grand Rapids, and he sits in with me from time to time on The Huge Show. And this guy, in his first 6 months or less, he started at the radio station in April, is so many light years ahead of what me or anyone I've ever worked with. Tells me that we have a star in the making in the sports broadcasting world. I don't know what this guy's going to end up doing. It might be actually doing a talk show, a sports talk show, or a play-by-play guy. I think he wants to do play-by-play. But the dude is just awesome. Just a fun guy to talk to. If you have a chance to, he joined me in the second hour of The Huge Show yesterday, and I'm thinking about having him back on today. I just can't get over the fact that he's been doing it for just a handful of months, and he sounds as natural and normal. I mean, you think about me when I first started doing radio.
Two Live Crew on 89.1 WPHS, your one and only rap station in the city of Warren. We're back after a long departure, 3.5 months to be exact. We're going to keep it going with Heavy D and the boys.
We're back after a long departure. 3.5 months departure, to be exact. Now, granted, I was just a kid here. But still, Anthony, it's like he's been doing this his whole life. I wish I had a clip of him right in front of me, but just sounds really good. I don't know if he sounds as good as this.
That was LL Cool J on 89.1 WPHS. It's 20 past the hour of 8 in the city of Warren. I want to see those phone lines lighting up at 751 FM 89. You ask for Easy Rhyme, you talk to the main man, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince right here on 89.1 WPHS.
I think I need to take these clips and bring them to the radio and send them to myself, and then we'll play them on the radio today on The Huge Show for Anthony. Anthony, have you ever referred to yourself as the main man?
You ask for Easy Rhyme, you talk to the main man.
Fuck. The amount of laughter that will, because I said to him, I go, yeah, I do these. I gave him the background that I just gave you about doing the Who Are These Zane show. About we just go back and review countless bits of audio from the past several decades of shit. I still maintain that it's one of the luckiest stories ever that I was ever paid enough money to support a family, let alone the king's ransom that we were able to make for a few years at least on GRD before that dried up. It's fucking disgusting, you know? I don't know how I pulled that off. I'm beginning to think it was just stupidity on whoever agreed to pay that money and lies and smoke and mirrors. It's like it was stealing. Holy shit. But anyway, Just want to share that with you. This show is available each and every day on Twitch, twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live. If you are enjoying the show on Facebook, Twitter, or YouTube, check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live, because on those other platforms, you're about to be cut off. I only make the full show. I make the full show available only on Twitch. So either go online on your desktop or laptop, twitch.tv/Eric Zane Live, or download the Twitch app, TWITCH, Twitch, and then search Eric Zane Live, and you will find me right there. Follow the page, link up your Amazon Prime account to get a subscription for free, and then hit the subscription button each month. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I have a Patreon. Patreon.com/Eric Zane. I'll be talking a little bit more about some new shows that are on the way. The Patreon is available for free for 7 days. Just go to patreon.com/Eric Zane, and you will be all set. Nikki may have just heard Easy Rhyme for the first time. You call Easy Rhyme, you talk to the main man.
You ask for Easy Rhyme, you talk to the main man.
She writes, that's you? Were you a wannabe gangster? Well, I wanted to be black is what that is. Picture me wearing like a Kangol hat and a black leather jacket doing that show. I actually got in a costume when I did it. Oh, yeah. Totally wanted to be a gangsta rapper. Adnan writes LMFAO. Aram says the guy I was bragging about, Anthony Clark, the dude is building on some of the greats like the Toon Man and the Poor Boy. Kenny adds, I'm glad I never kept any recordings of myself.
You ask for Easy Rhyme, you talk to the main man.
When I filled in for a friend that was a DJ on the local college station years ago. What? Oh, wow. I never knew that. You actually were on the radio? Hey, yeah, welcome in. Welcome into the radio show. Hey, anyway, instead of playing music, I'm just going to bitch about everything. Ooh. Thanks to my friend for letting me in. Talk to you about all my troubles. Tyler says, I can't stand the sound of my own voice. I would never keep a recording of myself either. Kenny says, yeah, I heard myself on a recording once and just didn't keep it again. It was a Christian metal and hard rock show. Holy fuck. So is it impossible to get it? Is it nowhere? Can't you contact someone? Oh. Boy, would we have a field day with that. Jesus. But I know I can understand why. Because at the moment, when you hear it, that's natural and normal to hate your own voice. Like Anthony, when I was talking to him about, because he filled in for the Huge the day before, I go, and he was asked, did you listen back? He goes, well, I tried, but I couldn't handle it. That's very normal to hate your own voice. Tyler says, this segment brought to you by Johnson Chiropractic, reminding you to stop by if you frequently say, oh, my back. Thank you, Tyler. All right. So for you folks that are getting the show, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, I gotta kick you out. Thank you. Oops. I think I just for a second there, I got rid of